Hello everyone! Thanks for another great week at reading this week. We're going to go over the homework sheets that I sent home for this week now. So on Monday I sent home a couple of sheets with everybody that looked like this. One of them was this. Review recognizing sounds at the beginning and end of words. So this is a similar activity to one that I sent home last week, where you're just going to be reading lists of words, map, mom, dog, mud, and have your child tell you which one does not belong. So we're listening for that initial sound, the the d, and they want to you want to be able to have them tell you that dog does not fit with the others. So help them go through the rest of that one. And the other activity that was sent home with everybody on Monday was the change the word activity. This is another really great sound awareness activity where you're going to say a word such as fit. So you say fit and you say good. Now change to s and see if they can tell you, oh, that means we make sit. So fit, change the f to s and we get sit. So if they can do that without any help with the letters and just doing it by the sounds, that's great. The other thing you can do is also use your little letter tiles to build that word. So you could build it, F-I-T, and then tell them, okay, now we're going to change that f to a s. So what letter do you need now? They can take that F out, put that S in, and that can kind of help them change that word if they need that assistance. Both are great ways to do the activity. The first way with just the sounds is great training for listening for those sounds, but doing it with the letters is a great way to work in that sound letter correspondence also, which is the big issue that we were working on this week. Phonics, that letter to sound correspondence, understanding which letters make which sounds. So that was the activities that got sent home with both groups on Monday. Now the group 1, so this is going to be Cody, Amir, Vanden, and Melina. You guys got these papers about making words. So the first one looked like this, and the second one looked like this. So they're both just word lists with these real short 3-letter words on them. So the idea behind these activities, oh, you also got this paper as well with the boxes. So these are meant to help your child start to build those words, sound out those words using those little letter tiles. So you'll notice the first paper talks about tapping out the sound. So you say the word, for example, the word mad. Say d, and see if they can tell you what all those sounds are that make up that word mad. And then after they get good at that, then you can start working on that letter sound correspondence. So okay, so what letter makes that? The M. Find that M. What letter makes that sound? The A. Find that A. D. What letter makes that? The D. So find that D. So really talk your child through that. Make sure they understand all that letter sound correspondence and help them spell out that word. And then again, there's just another long word list on that second page to help them continue practicing spelling out those words. So you can just have them spell them out with those little letter tiles just on the table, or again, you can use this sheet that I provided just to give them a frame to put in those letters. You can write the words on the list here. If that helps, if they need that extra assistance to match those letters and match their titles here and sound it out. If they can do it just by listening and putting their letters on a table, that's fantastic too. Another packet was sent home with our group 2 kids. So this is going to be Tyler, Trisha, Gloria, and Grace. So those girls got this packet. It started out with this one. So we were looking at our digraphs this week. Those are the 2-letter combinations like SH, WH, CH, CK, and TH. those 2-letter combos that make one sound. So I just sent home, I realized on Monday I did not remember to send home those tiles for practice with this. So I did send those home on Wednesday. So you can do this activity with those letter tiles that I sent home, the 2-letter tiles, to help spell out those words. Most of them were doing pretty good with this concept though. So hopefully I don't need a whole lot more work on those. This page was also just finding those digraph sounds, so finding the TH, finding the SH, and then kind of going along and helping them read those phrases that use those sounds. And then in the back of that packet that was sent home with those girls on Monday was our first list of our sight words. So these can just be cut up into flashcards to use to practice drilling those sight words. Again, that's going to be a big deal, and I'll send home more of those in the coming weeks as well to make sure that they're really solid with those sight words. And with those, remember, you don't want to try to sound those out. They just need to know what that word is when they look at it. It needs to be sight recognition. As soon as they see the, they know that's the. They're not sitting there trying to sound that out. So those were the papers that were sent home on Monday. Wednesday, papers were sent home with everybody, smaller packets that had the phonics information for the parents. That first page was a front and a little bit on the back as well. Information about phonics, or the alphabetic principle. So this was the reading pillar that I wanted to talk to the parents about this week. Again, that's that letter sound correspondence. So last week we talked about phonemic awareness, just understanding that words are made up of sounds, being able to identify the initial sound, that ending sound, blend those sounds together, break those sounds apart. Phonics is then taking those sounds and understanding, okay, all those sounds that we can segment and manipulate correspond to specific letters or letter combinations, like that sh sound with the SH, right? So look that over. I think most of you probably kind of understand this concept. Phonics is one of those big, kind of buzzwords in reading, so most people understand the concept of phonics, but that is a big thing that we were working on this week. So everybody got that information sheet, and then some of our kids, I think our group 1 kids, so Cody, Amir, Vanden, and Melina, were given a fluency drill sheet with sounds. Okay, so if you were given this sound fluency drill sheet, it's just like last week's fluency drills. You're going to go through, have your child say all those things as quickly as they can, write down the time down here in the boxes, encourage them to try to beat their time, go through it at least 3 times in a row if you can, maybe 4 times, and you really only need to do this 1 time a day. It's just really good practice for making them quick with these sounds. Now, keep in mind that when you see the vowels on this page, you want those to be your short vowel sounds. So, a, I, and Those are the sounds that we want them to be saying with those vowels on this sheet. So none of the long vowel sounds where they say the names. A, I, That's what we're looking for with those sounds. So that was that. And then our other group, group 2, I believe you guys got some words, a fluency drill chart with words that included the digraph sounds. So the sh, the sh, the ck, the th, the wh, and yeah, those. There's one more I'm leaving out, but that was your fluency drill. So again, same idea with that one. We want you to go through, have your child read those words as fast as they can, and encourage them to try to beat their time each time you repeat that activity. One other thing I wanted to touch on too, I had a question about this. I wanted to make sure everybody understood. These worksheets that I'm sending home, all the ones that have the little the little owl on them, or this little unit and week symbol up here. These materials are taken from a curriculum that is meant to be used throughout an entire school year in a classroom setting. And so obviously, since this is just a quick 6-week program that we're doing here, I kind of pick and choose the material and the order that we're going to do this stuff in. And so you're not seeing everything from this curriculum. And there may be some instructions in here that don't always make sense if they refer to activities or materials that you don't know what they're talking about. I think one question was about like the sound book or something like that. If you see something like that you don't know what they're talking about, you can probably just disregard it. It's probably some one of the classroom materials or something that we're just not doing in this quick program. And especially when they're talking about specific days when you're supposed to do stuff, again, it probably doesn't apply to this. I know in some of these activities it actually says on Monday do this, on Thursday do this. You don't necessarily have to do them on those days. The point of these homework exercises for this program is I just want to make sure that all of the families are provided with activities that they can do at home and continue to do throughout the summer as well. So that was another thing too. These activities don't need to be brought back. It's not homework like in a school year where I want you to do it and then bring it back to me and the kids are going to be graded on it. No, I just want you guys to have activities available to you at home so that you can work on this stuff with your child and continue to use them throughout the summer, like I said, to kind of help keep their skills up even after this program is done and until school starts again in the fall. Hopefully you could hang on to these worksheets and activities and just touch on them every day. 10 minutes a day is really all you need. If you can sit down and have your child work on some of these activities for 10 minutes each day, that will work wonders, trust me. Try to get one of those fluency drills done each day. That shouldn't take you any longer than like 5 minutes maybe. If it does take longer, then great. If that's what you get through for the day, that's fantastic. But for most of the kids, I think one of those fluency drill activities, go through that, 3 or 4 times, and then maybe pick one other activity to do with them for a few minutes. And that right there will be very powerful for keeping their skills maintained and keeping them off that summer slide before school starts again. So those were the homework activities for this week. As always, if anybody has any questions about anything, feel free to call or email me. Again, my phone number here is 910-488-4100. I can be reached at extension 225. And my email address is Jessica Gifford, that's JESSICAGIFFORD @needspeech.com. And you can always check that contact info video from last week too to see that contact info if you have any questions for me. So I hope everybody has a wonderful 4th of July weekend, and we will see you all on Monday.